Heidi ho neighbors, RadoGoji here, and yeah, it's been a while since I've really done a full-size RadoVlog, because I really haven't had a whole lot to say, but even so, today is basically going to be full of stuff about Let's Plays and how they're going to be affected in the future and whatnot with some decisions I've made and whatnot. First off and foremost, I actually have notes written down on this because there's a lot that I want to talk about, and I'm gonna make sure that I don't forget anything because I have done so in the past, and I really don't want to do that. Anyway, first off and foremost, I did want to talk about the 3 Let's Plays that I had put on hold when I took that 2-week hiatus for about 2 years that one time. Before I started doing the vlog and then started getting back into the Let's Playing and whatnot. Namely, Baldur's Gate, Pokemon Red, and Dragon Warrior 2. And I had to, I didn't really have to, but I made a pretty tough decision, and you can probably guess just by the tone of that what that decision is. I have decided that it is in my best interest right now to cancel those playthroughs. The main thing is every time that I think that I'm going to have to, eventually get back to doing those, it makes me want to play them less. At least for the moment. Baldur's Gate was like the second Let's Play I ever started, and I still never finished it. And I'm basically at a part that I absolutely hate. And it's really infuriating. Dragon Warrior 2, while I was following a walkthrough for that, I was mostly playing it blind. And I was stuck in in that frickin' lighthouse. Even with like maps from GameFAQs, I could not find my way around. I kept losing my place. And Pokemon Red really didn't have anything wrong going with it. It was just I guess it was just in a not so interesting part of the game. And to be honest, there I've said before many times, the fact that I was playing 3 RPGs at once did kind of put a detriment on things, and that's why I got burned out in the first place. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm completely abandoning these games. The particular playthroughs that I have set up will be canceled. I won't be continuing those at all. Dragon Warrior 2, I don't know if I'm going to be going back to at all. It's kind of a thing where I want to... With most of the games that I want to, be playing on my channel, they're basically games that I know that I like, and I'll get to this a bit later, but it's a situation where I only want to really play games that I really like anymore. I don't want to play games I don't like anymore. Because I know that I have done that in the past, or have accidentally done that. I don't really want to play too many blind games anymore, because playing games blind, it's fine for if I'm doing it just by myself, or if I'm streaming with Greg. If I'm streaming with Greg, I'll do blind games because it's a lot more fun when there's another person doing it with you, or if it's something that I'm just doing on my own. But when I'm doing Let's Plays, I try to show off as much of the game as possible and be informative in a way. So as far as that's concerned, I really don't want to do blind playthroughs anymore, and at least when I do stuff on my own. And Lego Marvel really taught me that. But Dragon Warrior 2 was a situation where it really felt like that, and it's currently listed in my my latest backlog endeavor, which is probably the one that I've made the most progress in. Every time I make a backlog, it always fails, and I end up starting it over later and then not doing too well. But I've actually gone through 5 or 6 games at the very least, and even quitting games that I don't like because I don't want to force myself to play through games I don't like anymore, because Lord knows I've had enough of that, and it was not fun. Again, I'll get to that. Baldur's Gate and Pokemon, I am definitely going to be coming back to in slightly different forms in the future. For Pokemon Red in particular, I'm probably going to want to go with Leaf Green instead later on. With the Pokemon games, I think I've said it before, but more often than not, I like the remakes more than the original versions. I said I more than likely couldn't go back to Gen 1. I did eventually get Pokemon Red on the 3DS. I played through it. I actually completed the Pokedex, which was something I never did on the Red version legitimately. I used a Game Genie back then, but with the help of a friend of mine, I actually was able to complete the Pokedex. And the game is fun, don't get me wrong, but I just couldn't help but feel that, you know, at times it's really glitchy, it's unbalanced, and it's just not as fun as Leaf Green. Leaf Green is more up to date. It has a lot more things that I like about it, and I do want to show that game off a little bit more. So the Adventures of Captain Floofers, as far as Pokemon is concerned, because Captain Floofers is also my Final Fantasy XIV character, and that's a whole different chronicle, if I do say so myself. The Adventures of Captain Floofers, as far as Pokemon is concerned, I mainly want to. I'm going to probably start that over sometime in the future with Leaf Green. Also, I have I'm trying to go a little bit more away from emulation and more for doing physical copies of games or digital copies of games, legitimate copies of games, unless I really, really have to. And as for Baldur's Gate, much like Pokemon Red, I do plan on going back to that in the future, basically doing a fresh playthrough and actually playing the enhanced version of the game. I don't have the enhanced version right now. It's basically going to come around when I get my new computer. My plans for as far as computers go, I'm getting a computer. At least the plan is I'm getting a computer, as well as a self-contained capture device for either my birthday or Christmas, or both. I really don't know how it's going to be planned out, but my parents are, helping support me through my YouTube pipe dreams here. So, and they know that I have fun doing this, so, and they know that the laptop that I'm currently using, that's not technically mine, it's my friend's, but it really isn't working properly at the moment because of stupid crap involving Windows 10. I don't have Windows 10 on it. I have Windows 7. But Microsoft is trying to force people, or I don't know how successful they've been so far, but they haven't been successful with me. They've been forcing people to upgrade to Windows 10, and they, already compile a bunch of the OS on there and say, click here to upgrade, and I didn't do that, and it took up so much memory that I actually had to stop. That was one of the reasons I think that we stopped with that we never went on with Fatal Frame 2. I couldn't upload anything because every time I tried to upload something, it would blue screen because it was out of memory, because all the memory was being taken up by Windows 10, which I wasn't even using. And the new computer I'm getting is actually going to be a Linux box, so I have that to look forward to. But I do plan on getting, once I have that computer, I am planning on downloading the enhanced edition of Baldur's Gate from Steam. As often as I use Steam, hint, I don't, even when I do have a computer to use. But with the enhanced edition, I also foresee a lot less pain in the ass trying to get it to work properly or display properly. It worked fine at first when I was on Windows Vista, of all things, when I first started the Baldur's Gate playthrough. And then after the virus hit and then I reformatted the computer with Windows 7, the game stopped displaying things properly, and I had to get special patches and whatnot in order to be able to get things to display properly, because it's an older game, and for whatever reason, when you get newer and newer computers, older and older games don't work properly, because it's stupid. And that's one of the main reasons why I don't PC game, is because most of the games nowadays that are out, I can just play it on a console, because I like the console experience a bit more than PC, and all the PC games I really actually want to play are older games. The only ones I'm really interested in now, I guess besides Baldur's Gate, are things like Ultima 7, Lands of Lore, The Throne of Chaos, hopefully some version of Wing Commander Privateer. I want to, get a version of that because that's a really good game. The original Deus Ex. So, just a bunch of older games. are the only things I'm really interested in as far as PC goes. Morrowind, I guess, is like the more probably the most recent thing I can think of that I would want to put on there, even though that was around the same time as Deus Ex. But I digress. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut those playthroughs because, in all honesty, again, the more that I think about trying to finish them like right away, the less it makes me want to play them. I mean, I don't have a lot of time nowadays. I have a full-time job, and I can really only focus on getting regular updates for one game at a time. And I normally do, all the recording for the week on a Saturday. I mean, I'm not doing it this week. I'm actually going to do it tomorrow because reasons. But yeah, I'm kind of want to stop worrying too much about the past. And as much as I hate leaving things unfinished, and I really do, I think it would be better off for my morale and everything if I just, cut those out and then just start off fresh under the Squeeze the World banner. I think that might work out for the best there. Also, other things that that I had planned that have kind of changed. The Zelda series. Now, my third LP on this channel, pretty much straight away, was the Zelda series, and or was Legend of Zelda, and I played that. Even though I don't like it very much, I played that with the express intent of playing every single main series Zelda game. And what a great job I've done of it so far. I started that was like my third Let's Play. I completed Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 and haven't gone off from there. Now, as I explained in an earlier vlog entry, I have discovered that there are games that I also hate in the series. Despite the fact that I still consider Zelda to be my favorite game series, there are some games that, Spirit Tracks, for example, as I've mentioned before, is my most hated game of all time. So, yes, I do think it's ironic that that's the case. I was, even after, hating Spirit Tracks, hating Skyward Sword, I had still planned on playing through them. I just hadn't played. The only game at the time that I hadn't played all the way through was Triforce Heroes. Well, as part of my most recent, backlog endeavor, I did play through Triforce Heroes, and I didn't finish it. I stopped. I almost finished it. You see, the thing is, I didn't like it at all by the end. I thought it was like, at its very best points, I thought it was just meh. But there were points where the way that the controls were handled was really terrible. And again, it all comes down to control. Now, I am sure, without a shadow of a doubt here, that I'm fairly sure that Triforce Heroes is a good enough game if you have multiple people to play with, if you have two other people to play with. I did not. I don't have any friends who own the game, and I don't play online with strangers. Normally, it was just like random strangers because that's the only other way you can play. I don't know anyone who would, any random strangers I would want to play with because I'm always worried about getting grouped up with elitists and griefers. And that's usually that's the main thing that keeps me away from online gaming a lot of the time. So I played by myself, and I got to the last stage, and then the game pulled out all the stops. It basically put me in a bunch of rooms with a bunch of enemies that are a pain in the ass to defeat. I actually ended up sacrificing lives so I could skip all the way to the final boss, and the final boss, with the way that the control is set up in single-player mode, is pretty... I'm not going to say it's impossible, because I'm fairly sure that people have done it, but it was unbearable. With the way that you switch between the characters, with the way that you have to use the totem thing, and again, I'm sure it's fine if you have multiplayer, but it's just so damn awkward. And I couldn't stand it anymore. I actually made a stand at that point. Why am I basically why am I torturing myself like this? Why am I torturing myself to get these games done just to say that I have an entire series of games? I can pride myself on owning them and having beaten them, when I hate a lot of some of these games that I'm playing. And so I basically just made the decision right then and there to take the DS games and Skyward Sword, the DS Zelda games, I mean, and Skyward Sword and Triforce Heroes, and I just got rid of them. I traded them in at GameStop. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going if I play a game and I don't like it, I'm not going to force myself through it anymore. I don't want to play, and that's one of the things that I was getting to before was I don't want to play games on this channel that I don't like anymore. So I'm not going to be playing through the Zelda series because I don't own all of them anymore. I got rid of the ones that I hated. I'm never playing Spirit Tracks or Skyward Sword ever again. And instead, I'm going to focus on the games that I actually really like. And I mean, that does bump down a lot of Zelda. I mean, there are some Zelda games that I think are okay, but I don't think are great. Like Minish Cap, for example. I don't think that that's a particularly great game. I like Wind Waker to an extent, but it's not one of my favorites. It's mainly like A Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, which is my absolute favorite game of all time, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, the Oracle games, and Twilight Princess are like the only games anymore in that series that I'm planning on playing on this channel. And I will be. Just you wait, I will be at some point. And there are also some other things that I haven't gotten around to playing, that I had planned on playing, like I know a lot of, there's still some folks who are holding out for Kamen Rider Super Climax Heroes. I do still plan to do that. I don't have my PSP at the moment. That's the main reason I don't have my PSP, and I don't have a good way to capture it. But yeah, I am still planning on playing through that because it is still fun to me, and I do still want to show it off and do it. And it's probably going to be a game that I would want to play with Greg, or at least Greg watching or alongside, even though I don't have a way for him to play as well because it's on the PSP. But there's that. And speaking of capture devices and whatnot, I think the last thing I wanted to talk about was share play on the PS4 is not fun to, or at least the share recording videos straight from the PS4. It did well in a pinch and allowed me to work within my means, but I'm running out of games that I really want to play and that I haven't played yet, or that I've already played. Because, again, I don't really want to do blind games anymore. I'm still going to finish up with the Marvel Avengers DLC. Lego Marvel Avengers DLC. I think after that's done, though, it's going to be the last, like, regular daily update game until I get my capture device. Unless I somehow get the capture device in the meantime. Now, I'm still going to be doing streaming. I don't know if I'm going to be doing regular streaming by myself anymore. I know I did that the few weeks with Digimon Story, but Cyber Sleuth. But streaming really isn't all that fun. I mean, first off, I don't think streaming is all that fun by myself. Playing for long periods of time in a row like that, without having the videos to break them up. Like, when I'm by myself, I can do well with the individual parts. But Thursdays with streaming with Greg is really fun. So I am going to keep that up, so there will still be videos. But once I'm done with Lego Marvel Avengers, that's going to be the last of my updates for a while, because using the share feature is a pain in the ass. It's not that I don't really mind having 15-minute videos. It's the fact that it's strictly 15-minute videos. There is no wiggle room. If you go over, you're chopping off from the beginning of your video, and that's terrible. I mean, I know that I had been doing like 15-minute videos in the past anyway, but I'd rather be doing like 20-minute ones. They seem like like nowadays it seems like a good, more well-rounded length of time to be doing a video at a time. And also, like I said, I'm not with having a strict time limit like that is the biggest problem, because if you're in the middle of something and you can't get to a good stopping point, then you have like what I have like with the .5 videos and the .33 or .67 videos where I can't get to a stopping point, and then like in order to be able to get to my stopping point, I have to have like, you know, a short like 2 or 3 minute video to finish up, and it's kind of awkward, to tell you the truth. So once I get my capture device, I'll start, you know, uploading 20-minute parts and see what games I can do. I also do want to redo some of the games that I've played already, mainly ones that I particularly enjoyed playing. Mystical Ninja is obviously going to be one of those, especially because I have a physical copy of it now, and I can actually show you the ending. So I'm going to definitely be redoing that one. I also, mainly for nostalgia's sake, and because I absolutely love the games, I kind of want to redo Wario Land and Final Fantasy Adventure. Those are my favorite LPs that I've done. Possibly Mole Mania as well, although it's a puzzle game, so doing it off the top of my head is not going to be all that great, but Final Fantasy Adventure and Wario Land and Mole Mania are some of my favorite games, and I really, really enjoyed Let's Playing those. And now I'd like to see me be able to Let's Play those. I mean, Wario Land I didn't have any problems, but well, I guess I kind of sort of did. It was after I downloaded that frickin' N64 emulator to play Mystical Ninja that I started that, because one of the things that around the time I was doing Final Fantasy Adventure was there was spyware on there, and it kept coming up with audio from adverts that I couldn't see or close out, or I had to like wait for them to finish or whatever. And I eventually got rid of it, but that was something that kept interrupting my playthroughs of Final Fantasy Adventure, and it was annoying as hell. But luckily we don't have to do that. I don't know if I'll be able to. I do have a cartridge for Final Fantasy Adventure I can use. But also, I have been thinking about getting a PlayStation TV to play Vita games on there, and I could play Adventures of Mana, which is the remake of Final Fantasy Adventure, which I have played and platinumed, and it's actually really good. It's the exact same game, so yeah, it's really good. But either way, I do want to replay Final Fantasy Adventure. I do kind of want to replay Wario Land a bit, maybe Mole Mania, but we'll see when we get to that point. I'm really looking forward to moving forward from here. Like I said, it was a pretty tough decision, especially considering that I mean to cut out at the very least Baldur's Gate, because I know that there were a lot of people who were here for Baldur's Gate. Like I said, Baldur's Gate will make a comeback in a much better form, but I think it's better to just, for my sake at the very least, to just move on. Get back to Baldur's Gate and restart. It really does deserve a fresh start, I think. Having a file going on, and especially considering the fact that it's been on and off for over 6 years, that game. And it feels really weird to be going back to it after so many different breaks and whatnot. I do want to have like a fresh start on that. Definitely for Baldur's Gate at the very least. Just a fresh start. Hopefully there'll be like an enhanced version that's of Baldur's Gate 2 that's compatible with it, so we can transfer our character over. But who knows what the future may bring, but I do know what I plan on doing. So that's pretty much my thoughts on, just basically reinventing myself as I go along, sort of. I'm not really reinventing myself. I still produce the same crap. It just has a fancy name now. But yeah, that's pretty much what I plan on doing from here on out. So look forward to that. More Lego Marvel DLC coming on the way. Also the streams. I kind of want to get to a point where at least all of the games that I'm playing, physically playing, I want to finish those. And I'll just probably like finish them as we go. I'll finish Digimon Story eventually. It's just something that with the streaming, I got to do that with Greg. So like Digimon Story, I'll eventually get back to that. I do want to finish up Soma because Soma's getting really good. I want to finish The Witness, and I'm kind of hoping that we'll eventually get to finish The Last of Us on Greg's channel. Because he said he'd be able to finish that, and we just went off on different things and didn't finish. But yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, I've been Rado Goji, and I'll be here next time. Join me, won't you?